Welcome back to Garden Blooms, where we breathe life into everyday outdoor spaces by connecting you with nature. If you love garden design inspiration, please like this video, leave a comment below, and subscribe to our channel for more. Today, we step back in history to explore the sophisticated, misty elegance of the Victorian era. We will discover how integrating a majestic sunken stone pond can anchor your landscape, bringing an antique, moody grandeur to your romantic cottage garden. Imagine stepping out into a damp, misty morning where the air is thick with history. Overcast skies cast a dramatic, moody light over weathered, ancient masonry, while deep rich greens of creeping ivy frame the dark, perfectly still water below. The Victorian aesthetic was defined by a profound appreciation for rigid structure, harmonizing beautifully with untamed nature. Within these historical landscapes, strict geometric foundations were deliberately softened by overflowing, romantic plantings, creating a compelling dramatic tension that feels both ancient and deeply intentional. Central to this design philosophy was the sunken water feature, an architectural marvel specifically designed to draw the eye downward. By lowering the pond beneath the primary ground level, Victorian designers created an intimate, sheltered microclimate, surrounded by heavy, rain-washed stonework that commands absolute reverence. As morning fog rolls across the estate, the sunken pond reveals its true atmospheric magic. The striking contrast between the dark, moody waters and the intricate, moss-draped masonry transports you to a bygone era, echoing the sophisticated grandeur of 19th-century estate gardens. The foundation of any authentic Victorian water feature begins with a deliberate, calculated descent into the earth. Excavating a sunken pond requires a precise vision, establishing a profound geometric void that will soon hold the deeply reflective, dark waters of history. As the soil is carefully turned back, the sheer scale of the historical design reveals itself against the damp, misty surroundings. The raw, exposed earth provides a dramatic canvas, waiting patiently to be clad in heavy, hand-hewn antique stone masonry. Standing above the newly carved basin, one immediately senses the magnificent architectural weight of the space. This subterranean sanctuary, shrouded in morning fog and framed by deep green roots, promises a grand focal point that forever anchors the cottage garden landscape. Selecting the perfect masonry is paramount to achieving that authentic, moody Victorian grandeur. The chosen stones must carry the physical weight of history, displaying deeply weathered, pitted surfaces that speak of endless seasons spent under heavy, damp skies and relentless misty rain. We seek heavy blocks of reclaimed granite and aged limestone, naturally painted in rich, moody tones of charcoal and slate. When slick with cold morning dew, these ancient stones reveal intricate veins of iron and dark silver, offering a perfectly textured, damp canvas for creeping mosses. As these grand, heavy stones are meticulously placed along the sunken perimeters, they immediately ground the expansive cottage garden landscape. Their dark, porous facades absorb the soft, diffused morning light, effortlessly blurring the rigid boundaries between historical architectural craftsmanship and the wild, untamed natural world. The true brilliance of Victorian garden design lies in the striking contrast between formal geometry and untamed organic life. By anchoring your sunken stone pond with precise, sharp angles and symmetrical masonry edges, you establish a commanding architectural skeleton that defines the entire expansive landscape. These rigid structural lines act as an intentional anchor, drawing the viewer's gaze deeply into the subterranean water feature while creating a profound sense of mathematical order. Yet this formal precision is never cold or stark. It serves merely as a dignified stage where wild, rambling cottage plants can cascade freely. As the cool, overcast morning light sweeps across the estate, the crisp shadow lines of the stone perimeters stand out in dramatic relief. This harmonious interplay between rigid structural discipline and moody, atmospheric antiquity elevates your cottage garden into a masterclass of timeless landscape architecture. To truly capture the essence of a romantic 19th-century cottage garden, the rigid geometry of the sunken stone pond must be gently softened by an overflow of lush, wild flora. Towering foxgloves, rambling old-fashioned roses, and spilling lavender spill over the heavy masonry, blurring the line between man-made structure and untamed nature. Under the damp, overcast morning light, the deep green foliage and rich crimson petals pop against the dark, weathered stone borders. This deliberate juxtaposition creates an atmosphere of wild, uncontained romance where every plant looks as though it has been rooted in place for generations. As you stand back and take in the expansive landscape, the dense, overflowing greenery cradles the sunken water feature like a precious jewel. The misty air carries the faint, earthy fragrance of damp soil and blooming petals, completely transforming your outdoor space into a living historical painting. The water within the sunken stone basin serves as a dark, hypnotic mirror, capturing the moody expanse of overcast Victorian sky above. Its stillness is absolute, creating a profound visual depth that draws the eye downward into an endless, shadowy realm beneath the surface. As faint wisps of morning fog drift across the estate, ghostly reflections of towering foxgloves and weathered masonry shimmer faintly in the dark water. This interplay between the real garden and its liquid reflection builds an intoxicating, atmospheric dreamscape steeped in 19th-century romance. Standing at the edge of this subterranean water feature, you feel entirely sheltered from the outside world by the heavy, damp stone walls. The profound stillness of the dark liquid expanse invites deep contemplation, grounding your spirit in the quiet, historic heartbeat of the landscape. While the Victorian aesthetic favored deep stillness, introducing a subtle, gentle trickle of water breathes life into the heavy stone basin. A discreet moss-covered pipe or a concealed slate spillway allows water to slowly weave its way across the ancient masonry, creating a soothing, meditative soundtrack that complements the misty morning air. As the liquid motion catches the dim, overcast daylight, tiny silver ripples dance across the dark surface of the sunken pond. This delicate movement breaks the glass-like reflection, casting flickering patterns of light and shadow against the damp, weather-beaten stone walls below the garden level. The quiet sound of water gently spilling over carved stone creates an immersive sensory experience throughout the expansive estate layout. It harmonizes effortlessly with the rustling leaves and damp earth, turning your romantic cottage garden into a living, breathing sanctuary of timeless elegance and historic charm. To truly immerse your guests in the 19th century experience, the surrounding pathways must seamlessly integrate with the heavy masonry of the sunken pond. Winding trails of reclaimed brick and uneven cobblestone deliberately guide the wanderer through the misty, overgrown foliage. As you traverse these damp, ancient garden arteries, the descent toward the dark, reflective water feels like a deliberate architectural embrace. The moody, overcast daylight casts long, subtle shadows across the textured stones, emphasizing the deep historical character underfoot. These winding stone paths act as visual veins, connecting the expansive estate layout directly to the beating heart of the subterranean water basin. The harmonious transition between wandering trails and rigid pond geometry creates a profoundly captivating and unified garden design. To elevate the historical authenticity of your sunken stone pond, carefully curated Victorian ornamentation must be introduced into the surrounding masonry. Weathered stone urns, classically inspired statuary, and heavy ironwork accents add layers of profound narrative depth to the expansive landscape. Under the damp, overcast daylight, these antique sculptural elements develop a beautiful, moody patina of moss and lichen. Placed strategically at the corners of the rigid pond geometry, they act as silent guardians watching over the dark, reflective waters beneath the misty 19th century sky. The introduction of these aged architectural artifacts transforms a simple water feature into a curated outdoor museum of Victorian romance. As your gaze drifts across the sprawling estate, these intricate, weathered details ground the entire garden design in a rich, unforgettable historical legacy. As the overcast Victorian daylight slowly fades into deep twilight, introducing subtle, subdued evening illumination transforms the sunken stone pond into an entirely new atmospheric landscape. Carefully hidden, low-wattage amber lights nestled within the overgrown cottage flora cast a warm, flickering glow against the heavy, damp masonry, keeping the ancient aesthetic completely undisturbed. This delicate historical lighting strategy focuses on highlighting the rigid architectural geometry and the cascading romantic flowers without overwhelming the profound darkness of the 19th century evening. The dark, hypnotic surface of the subterranean water basin catches these faint amber reflections, creating a spellbinding, moody dreamscape that feels intensely private and intensely glamorous. Navigating the expansive estate under this soft twilight guidance allows guests to experience the garden design with a heightened sense of mysterious romance. The whispering breeze, the gentle trickle of water, and the quiet, glowing shadows weave together into a deeply immersive, sensory masterpiece that perfectly crowns your Victorian landscape architecture. Crafting a Victorian sunken stone pond is far more than a mere landscaping project. It is the faithful resurrection of a bygone era defined by profound romantic elegance. By carefully balancing rigid architectural geometry with untamed, cascading cottage flora, you forge a breathtaking sanctuary that deliberately transcends modern design trends to embrace an enduring, historical beauty. The dark, hypnotic waters and heavily weathered masonry serve as a powerful grounding force within your expansive estate layout, continually inviting deep contemplation under the misty, overcast sky. Whether viewed in the cool, quiet morning fog or illuminated by the subtle, subdued amber glow of deep twilight, this subterranean water basin remains a centerpiece of endless fascination. As you finally wander through these winding stone pathways and take in the meticulously curated antique ornamentation, you realize you are walking through a living, breathing 19th century dreamscape. Thank you for joining us on this incredibly atmospheric journey, and may your own romantic garden endeavors be forever steeped in timeless, glamorous cinematic history.